Jai Bhim to everybody. Jai Bhim. I feel so proud when I say Jai Bhim because it is a greeting of liberation. I would speak in English for some time because there are people who, this is basically a national convention, and people from different states are here. And since many of our friends would be speaking in India, so I would just speak a little bit in English. Is that fine?
No problem, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I think greatest minds of our present generation is Ambedkar. Intellectual of the century was Ambedkar. What else? If you are missing a reading of Ambedkar, I think you are missing an information and knowledge of a century. It's that much important to read Ambedkar. Yes. How many of you have kept the volumes of Ambedkar with you? Wow, that's amazing. Amazing. It's a good number. Well, I have also kept, but maybe hardly 2 to 3 volumes I have read, and some information scattered from here and there I have collected. But even little reading of that makes you feel, that you have gained something. Why? Because until then the literature or the knowledge realm was something else. Are you getting that? The source of knowledge was completely dominated by the Brahminism. So therefore, lot of things were concealed than what was revealed. Many of the things that should have been told to the people were hidden. There was a constant fear among the intellectuals that if they at all reveal that the reality of the society, they would be in a soup. They would not be able to claim their superiority. Post-colonial concept says that if you want to show somebody, if you want to show your superiority, you have to constantly keep telling somebody that you are inferior. Are you getting that? If you have to prove yourself, you don't have to prove yourself what you are in knowledge. You don't have to prove how rich your knowledge system is. You have to just constantly keep telling that you are not knowledgeable. And that is what Brahminical literature has done so far. Gopal Guru, a Dalit critic, intellectual, what he says is in the book, Humiliation. What he says is that experience was never ever counted as the realm or the source of epistemology or knowledge. Are you getting that? Experience was never said to be that it can be a system of knowledge. Dalits or the marginalized communities do not have anything other than experience. Your knowledge system is not archived. Your knowledge system is not stored up in the archives, not documented in books, right? But you have experiences. And we were constantly said that your experiences cannot be the source of knowledge. You know why you feel so much inferior about yourself? People from the marginal communities, they were made to feel inferior, right? They were made to say that, made to feel inferior about their culture, about their food, about their knowledge, about their experiences. Right. That is what Ambedkar did a different thing. What he did, he reread the text, reread the knowledge, the so-called knowledge written in Sanskritic, what's a language. When Ambedkar wanted to read, Sanskrit language in his school, he was not given, Sanskrit language to read. Very interesting. Gandhi did not want to study Sanskrit. If you read, my experience with the truth, Gandhi's autobiography, you will come to know that Gandhi did not want to study Sanskrit. But the Sanskrit teacher, who was a Brahmin, he felt so sad. He called Gandhi that, no, how can you not take a Sanskrit language? You will get good marks and you need to study. No, Gandhi wanted to study Parsi language because he wanted to get good marks. And he thought that Sanskrit language wouldn't fetch him good marks, so he didn't want to study Sanskrit. But the Panditji forced him to take Sanskrit. Whereas, on the other hand, when Ambedkar wanted to study Sanskrit language, but he was said that you cannot take Sanskrit language because this is their bhasha. You will pollute the language. How shameful. Because I think we know that Sanskrit language became an untouchable language for the marginalized communities just because if your minds become enlightened, you would know what they have concealed so far, isn't it? You would know what have been concealed so far. And that is what Ambedkar did, that is what Phule did. In Gulamgiri, what he is doing is rereading the Sanskrit text, Upanishads, right? Then he comes out a different kind of reading, and that is what Ambedkar does. So therefore, if you are not reading Ambedkar, I think you are losing. You will be deprived of knowing a person who has been acclaimed as greatest intellectual of the century. Anyway, I'm chairing this session. Maybe at the end I would speak a little more. So that is, I think, that is where we place. And one more thing I would just take, because this is about Ambedkar Badi literature and its relevance and its status in Odisha. So, see, I am from a Dalit community. I went to school. I was told not to speak in my own language, Dong language. All right. So I was said that is not a language, so you should not speak in that language. So the more the more you shed off your own culture, your language, you were considered as civilized. How sad is that? And the kind of eating, the meat or whatever, beef eating, so was considered something a taboo. No, you should not be eating. I was said that if you eat beef, then Saraswati Ma will be very angry with you and you wouldn't be able to study. And I'm the only one in my batch have become professor. so Saraswati was not with me, that's why I became professor. Interesting, you see that? So, but then only when I went to JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, where I got a chance to do my master's, my MPhil and PhD. Akshay Bhai, I met there. So, and that is where I became conscious of my own culture. I tried rereading my own culture, my own food, my own knowledge system. The experiences that I have gone, basically what the upper caste have perpetrated those experiences in me, those experiences became rich realm of knowledge. Recently I have written a paper, epistemological marginality. Epistemological marginality in Vasudev Sunani's latest novel. How many of you have read Mosani Sohar of Delhi. Mosani Sohar of Delhi. There is a sweeper boy, Kuda boy. He was segregating the Kuda, different types of Kuda. But the officer who sees him says that everything is Kuda. Why are you segregating? But that man said, no, there is a dry Kuda, there is wet Kuda, there are differences. So he was segregating. Look at this knowledgeable person, intellectual, couldn't understand why the other guy was segregating Kuda. But that guy, who is considered to be an untouchable, knew how to separate Kuda, how to separate garbage and process it. And that is a knowledge system that only belongs to the Dalits. Right? If you read Post-Hindu, that is by Kancha Ilaya, he calls them engineers, he calls them environmentalists. See that? He calls these sweepers as environmentalists. The sustainable development, the cleanliness that we are talking in the cozy rooms is actually practiced by the Dalits and the marginalized community. But they have never come to the system of knowledge. Are you getting that? So therefore, dear friends, and I became so liberated. Now I think we are going to launch a book on Dom poetry, and I have written, some of my poems are there. So now either I write in Dom or else in English. I'm not speaking even Odia. So, but I do translation, but it's a kind of protest for me. Either I can speak in Dom language or else I can speak in English. I think well versed both in Dom and as well as English. So I think, therefore, the knowledge system that belongs to the Dalit world has to be celebrated. I think we are here to celebrate our knowledge system. And we are telling to the world that we also have knowledge, we also have culture, and all these things came from the reading of Ambedkar and Phule. Right? So therefore that is the relevance. And now today I'm proud. And whenever I go to village, I keep talking in my own language. And over phone also I talk only in my language. And my people, they laugh. Why are you speaking? Because they are not conscious. But I have become conscious and enlightened. So now I tell them that you should speak Dom language. Make it a language. So Basudev Bhai, ever since he told me to write in Dom language, I have started writing Dom language. I have started writing in Dom language. So I think time is not, far off. Dom language, Dom, which is a dialect, not even a dialect, not even recognized as a dialect. Today you go to the villages, people are not speaking in Dom. You'd hardly find, because the teachers keep telling them that don't speak in Dom language, you speak in Odia language. That is but I think people like me, people like all of us, if we start speaking in our own language, then people will be proud of their own culture, their own food and their own languages. Recently I wrote another poem, Mandya Lai. Mandya Lai is in Jau, Mandya Jau, this is millet. And for 2023, now their minds are opening. Look at that. This year it is called as International Year of Millet. But millet has always been the food of the Dalits. See, and I never took millet to my school because other people would be bringing, very nice food to the school. And I was thinking, can I take millet to my school? And what would my friends see? What would they think about? But today, people are proud of eating millet. Come on. We have been eating for centuries. And today, so my wife, actually my wife is from South Korea. So she says that because you had been eating millet, so you are fit. It's very interesting. So what is knowledge and what is not knowledge? Right? It's just, so if you explore yourself and define that as knowledge, that part becomes part of the knowledge. So with that, I would open the panel and I hope they would talk more about the relevance of Ambedkarwadi literature. Thank you. So first in the panel is Dr. Ramesh Chandra Behra. and he would be speaking on role of journal and magazine in promoting Ambedkar Badi literature. So I would request the speakers, before you speak, you can just announce your topic. Announce your topic. So maybe, let's say 7 to 10 minutes. 7 to 10 minutes. Thank you.